this table actually summarizes it. So if you look at this table, it just differentiates already the three cartilage types. So hyaline, elastic, and fibrocartilage. So spend time on this. So I didn't put any star because you're supposed to go through each and every category. If you can see, the tip here is look for the differences. So for example, the location, you really have to be familiar. Where do you usually find these cartilages? So they're quite a short list for you to remember for this exam. And then it will be repeatedly asked later on also. So it might as well remember them at this point in time. And then you see, there's differences like this, that the fibrocartilage doesn't have a paper chondrium. And then, example, the elastic does not undergo calcification. So those are the things that you should remember. Or maybe another difference. Main cell type, the fibrocartilage, of course, has fibroblasts compared to the other two. So those are the things that you should remember when you're looking at tables, because the tables could be how many pages long, but how do you remember the important stuff? So you try to see the similarities and differences between the types. And you know that this one has this one has that. All the rest the same. So that's how you try to remember. So with this, actually, several questions could be asked already from just this table. So you just remember. Okay, so with this one, if you're, this is in scanning. So if you see this in your slide, would anybody know what this specimen is? Our topic is cartilage, so the emphasis is this one. So this is the trachea because of the C-shaped cartilage. So if you can see, later we'll focus on the epithelium and the connective tissue, because we'll discuss the trachea also in the previous topics. But right now we'll be concentrating on the cartilage. So again, what is the epithelium of the tracheal mucosa?
Stratified.
Stratified. Again. This is columnar, and then this one, what are these? They're ciliated. Okay. Would you know what kind of connective tissue? Areolar. And then, so this is the cartilage. So this is our topic. You can see we're going down. So we're already in the cartilage. So just a focus of the cartilage of the trachea. So if you can see, it is hyaline cartilage. Why do you say that's hyaline? First of all, cartilage, you know that we mentioned yesterday, would be avascular. So you cannot see any vessels here. You saw in the previous slide, in the lamina propria, there are vessels. Okay? And there are glands only. So this one is the cartilage. The P would be the perichondrium. And then we have the chondrocytes. They're spread out all throughout here. And then what do I have to point out here? If you can see, they seem like empty spaces here. So they're the empty lacuna. They're not actually empty, but during the preparation of the slide, that's why they would appear. The contents are lost, so that's why they look empty. So the chondrocytes, you can see there are, you can see back here, there are cells there, here also. And then if you can see that the chondrocytes, either they appear singly or they're in groups. So in groups, they're called isogenic groups. I think this is a better view. You can see that this one, the lacuna looks empty, but this was just during the preparation of the slide. And then this one actually was focused because it shows the matrix. So what are the different matrices of the hyaline cartilage? So around the chondrocyte, or around the, what do you call this, the isogenic groups, we have the territorial or capsular. I'll show you a picture again. And then the intercellular unit. So this is a better illustration. So what I always do if I don't understand the slide, I go first with the illustration, which is ideal. So if you cannot easily identify the structures, especially those who are not very familiar with looking through tissues, You can start with the ideal illustration. So if you can see the ideal illustration, if this is one isogenic group, so it's a group of chondrocytes. Sorry, here. Yeah. So you can see that there is a matrix around the isogenic group, so territorial, then in between the interterritorial. So you just have to see here. So this is one isogenic, this is one isogenic. You can see that the one around it is darker staining. So that's the territorial matrix. And then this is the interterritorial matrix, the lighter one. So from that you will be able to delineate them. This is an ideal, in your slides most likely it's difficult to appreciate it because the staining are already ancient. So just try to focus. Maybe some slides are better than others, so try to view it in the others slides. If you have a good one, focus that and share it to your group. Because the others might be very faint already, you'll not be able to appreciate it anymore. So what's this? The B is there, so you know this is the peritoneum. Then DCT, then it's connective tissue. So it's surrounding the hyaline cartilage. So if you can see the GC here actually, because this is the area where new cartilage cells are being produced. So show you here. But you have to remember that perichondrium is not present in articular joint surfaces. It is hyaline cartilage, but they don't have the perichondrium. So that's an important thing that you have to remember. So in your book, if you read through your book, it's not that overly emphasized, but it is there. So things like that you should remember. Okay, so this is a illustration and also the sample slide of your articular cartilage. So if you can see, there are zones. So there are 4 zones. So SC, so it's actually the superficial or tangential zone, intermediate or transitional zone, deep radial zone. Then we have a tide mark, which is not that seen, but you know that it's in between those 2 areas, the calcified and the radial zone. And then the subchondral is not that much illustrated anymore than the subchondral. You can't delineate that much in the picture. But they already made a labeling, so you can see here the differences in the zones. So the superficial or tangential would have, they're the uppermost layer, and then the chondrocytes, can you see the chondrocytes? They appear elongated or sometimes flattened. There are type 2 collagen fibers in between the cells, and they are arranged parallelly to the surface. And then the intermediate, so it's a bit larger area. So if you see the chondrocytes, they're rounder in shape, and if you can see the matrix, less organized, so they're randomly distributed. Some of them would even appear oblique. And then the deep radial, so this one here, would have smaller chondrocytes. Some of them would appear in columns. There are some that you can appreciate in columns. And then the fibers also would be in between those columns. They're parallel to the long axis of the bone. Then the calcified zone would have the calcified matrix. So you can see here it's a bit lighter. Okay. The tide mark, just remember what the tide mark signifies. So it's just in between the 2 zones, and just know the significance. You can't much appreciate in the picture, but it's the delineation between the 2 zones, the radial and the calcified. So this one, who could guess the specimen? So the difficulty is, if you can see, so the next topic also is elastic cartilage. So elastic cartilage, if you can see it, this is in close-up. This is the cartilage, huh? What's the epithelium? Stratified, squamous, non-keratinized. Very good. Ready with epithelium. So this is the cartilage already, a close-up view. So if you can see in between, can you see the arrows where it's pointing? Yeah, it's lighter color, so you're able to appreciate the lines. So there are several elastic fibers, and then, remember in the table, what did we say about elastic cartilage? They do not calcify with aging. Like other cartilages, they are avascular, so you can see any vessels. And then they still have the perichondrium here. Okay? Then this one you cannot guess the specimen, but we're already discussing fibrocartilage. So this is the symphysis pubis. So fibrocartilage, how do we describe the appearance? Actually, we have better slides in the next. We have better samples in the next slides. So this one, so you would have fibrocartilage. So you would have more fibers in between this, the chondrocytes. So if you can see, some of them are darker and some of them are lighter stained. So it just shows you the varying staining based on the density of the collagen also. So it's a combination of the dense regular connective tissue and also the hyaline cartilage, of course. So you would still appreciate the isogenic groups. So there are single cells, chondrocytes, and some of them are in groups. You can see. So isogenic groups are still there. It's a vascular still, but there's no perichondrium. Actually, this was not that well, so it was not seen. There's no perichondrium around it. But you have to remember, fibrocartilage doesn't have a perichondrium. This is still a sample of the fibrocartilage. So you can see the chondrocytes. This ones. So it's a close-up view. So you're able to appreciate the chondrocytes. And then amorphous matrix. And then there are some, you can see the next slide na lang. There's some flattened nuclei. Yeah. So what are those? Fibroblasts, because you have the fibers. So you will have the fibroblasts. I don't know if you can see some here. It's not much appreciated here. This one. But you can see here it's flattened rows. That's what we saw. It's flattened. So you'd have the fibroblasts aside from those of the chondrocytes, and you'd see there are more fibers surrounding the chondrocytes. So I'll not discuss in detail. It's already mentioned in your book the basis for the classification, but as like other tissues, its matrix and the fibers are the one that could that are the basis for our classification. So then the types of growth, just know the differentiation between the interstitial and the appositional growth. Okay. And then types of degeneration. So classification, pattern degeneration. I just mentioned here this one, although I don't think it's in your book. But we'll concentrate more on the classification. So bone. This is just a review, as you're already. So in terms of density, so you say it's either compact or you can also call it dense, or is it spongy and cancellous. For shape, there is the long, short, flat, and irregular. So review the differences among these types of bones. And then maturity, of course, we have the mature and immature. We'll touch a little bit of this tomorrow, the mature and immature. That's why I place an asterisk there. So this just shows you the different bone cells.
Like mature and immature.
So this is also in your book.
Mature and immature.
Kasama sa cells.
The bone.
Cells.
Mature and
Into the
immature.
osteoblast. Then mature will surround themselves with the matrix, becomes the osteocyte. And then the inactive ones, the ones here, the periosteal or bone lining cells. And if you can see the different, the osteoblast does not come from the mesenchymal stem cell. They would come from the neurocyte, monocyte progenitor. So they become inactive and then they become active. Okay? So this is important now. Know the differences between them. What are their functions, how do they usually appear, and where they usually located. So those are the things that you have to remember with the bone cells. So this is just a review, so you would understand each other when we do review already the slides. So you know that this is the long bone. So that's why we're showing you this, because we will be mentioning the parts later on. So the shaft is the epiphysis. The ends are epiphysis, between the one that would funnel out the metaphysis. Then you know the middle portion, the highly vascular one, is the marrow. You know that the surrounding is the periosteum. So pericardium, don't interchange, huh? So we're already talking about bones, it's periosteum. So you have the different bones I mentioned earlier, spongy and compact. You have the epiphyseal line. We discussed more of that in the ossification already. And then know that both ends have that articular cartilage. So this is for the long bone. So this is a cross section of the diaphysis of the bone. So you know where it is it? Where is it? In the shaft of the long bone. So the diaphysis of the bone. If you can see, this one is, there are several cells. It's highly vascularized. This is the marrow. So this is the marrow side. There's an S there. Actually, that's skeletal, pero di tayo appreciate. You can't appreciate it much. So those are skeletal muscles. Okay, so we're going to discuss the four organizational patterns of the compact bone. So you know this is the compact bone. This is the area of the compact bone. Remember, compact bone during the diaphysis. So what is IC? There's IC there. There's the IC here. I haven't read it yet. It's the inner circumferential lamellae, so it is arranged, circularly arranged near the marrow. So when it's pointed, and then we're asking the lamellae or the organizational pattern of the bone, and then you see that the marrow is the one beside it. You already know that's the inner circumferential lamellae. It's inner because the marrow is inside. And then outer, OC, you saw that there are muscles there, so it's outside the bone. So you know it's outer circumferential lamellae. So it's near the skeletal muscle. Then you have already this one. What do you think of this? So that's the Haversian system or the ostium. So what are the O's? Osteocytes. So it's inside the bone. They're usually surrounded by the matrix. So, and then if you can see that this middle part, this one, there's some, yeah. So those are the Haversian canal or the central canal. It's in the middle. Then it's not seen much here, but here there's some concentric arrangement of the layers. So you can see it. We'll have a better picture. So you just know that this one is the Haversian system or the ostium. I didn't point out the IL, or did I? Interstitial lamellae. Did I point it out not yet, no? So there are interstitial lamellae inside. So they're between the Haversian systems. So one Haversian system is delineated with each other, between each other. And the Haversian systems are delineated by the interstitial lamellae. So if it was difficult for you to imagine the earlier slide, so this is a good depiction or illustration of it. So we mentioned the outer. So you can see there's a periosteum, there's a circumferential lamellae. So the one here already, the outer part, usually you will see the side beside the skeletal muscles. And then the one inner, near the marrow, you will see the inner circumferential. And then in between the Haversian, you'll see the inter. And then we can see the one Haversian system. So here. So there's the canal in the middle, and then there are osteocytes around it, radially placed, and then concentric arrangement of the lamellae. Then you would see if we go through the Haversian canal, there are these, the Wolfman's canal. So they would communicate, this one is a good illustration. So they would communicate between two Haversian canals, so the Wolfman's canal. So what runs through this? There's a blood vessel. Some innervation also. Okay, so you'll be able to delineate it already in the slides. So we have two samples here. The one on the left shows only one osteon. So you know that this is a canal, then osteocytes. So it's easy to see, they're just dots around the canal. And then you have the lamellae, of course, and then which is concentrically placed and arranged. And then we have the, what else did we not point out? The C. You know what this is called? Cavalliculi. So you can see this is just one. And then here you can appreciate already the two osteons. So here you'll just see there's still central canal, cavalliculi, osteocytes. Okay, so it just shows you that they're close to each other, and then one osteon would have the concentric arrangement. So this one is another picture. So what is it showing? There's a reason, there's a clue. So this is the Volkmann's canal. So you can see it was cut in a way so to show the Volkmann's canal. So from there's a connection from the Russian canal. You can see there are remnants of, I think this is blood, cells of the canal. Because it's vascularized inside, it runs to the blood vessels are inside the Volkmann's canal. So it's not shown here, but it should connect to another canal. Oh, this is another one. So you know this one is the marrow. So this is the bone. So you have the IC again, into inner circumferential lamellae. Then the Persian canal is this one. What else is being shown here? This one actually is the bone lining cells. Remember we mentioned that earlier? And then this is the osteocytes. So there's another V. So if you can see, the Volkmann's canal doesn't only connect with two Haversian canals, but it also perforates or travel the periosteum or the endosteal surfaces of to the osteonal canal. So here, that's why there's a connection there also. Osteogenic layer of the periosteum. So this one, you can see, these are supposed to be skeletal, although it looks smooth, no? Those are supposed to be skeletal muscle. And then bone lining cells are still there. So it's flattened out. It looks flattened when you do it. And then the osteocytes, of course, are the one in the middle. Yeah. And then the cement lines. So this one actually just shows you the cement line because you can't see it in the other slides, I think. So this one's. So it's mentioned in your book, the cement lines. So if that was the compact bone, this is the spongy or the cancellous bone. So when you say it is the cancellous or spongy, when you have the trabeculae or the spicules. So if you can see here the trabeculae, the one spicule, we focus on one spicule on this side. So they don't have, what can you notice about them? You have the osteocytes, but they don't have the conversion system. So you remember, you kept on talking earlier, the circular arrangement, you don't appreciate it here. So they don't have aversion systems. So the cancellous bones, could you see the cells around it? So they're lined with squamous cells. Yeah, so single layer of squamous cells. And then, so you can appreciate here actually the basal line, yeah, here. Bone lining cells. You can see they're flattened out. And then when they become osteoblasts, remember the illustration earlier? They become more cuboidal or rounder in shape. And then the osteoblast is really larger. So it becomes larger, and then the osteoblast, and when they become surrounded by the matrix, they become osteocytes. And then what else do you see? This one, cement line. So you can see the cement line also. So they demarcate the regions where bone was laid down appositionally. So remember, we have appositional growth. Blood vessel, I think you can see also here, because this is you usually see this in the medulla, and the marrow, the medullary center. So that's why there are blood vessels there. So this one, special staining was done just so you could appreciate the osteoclast. So this, if you can see the osteoclast, what you have to remember with osteoclast, it's responsible for bone resorption. And then what is the H? Howship's lacunae. And then this one, the ruffled border of the osteoclast. So just know the function, just know how it appears, how it differs from the other cells, and then the Howship's lacunae ruffled border. Remember those things. This is another illustration of the osteoclast. So you can see here, it's already resorted. This portion of the bone. So it's in action. So the ruffled border is very prominent, and then there's a Howship's lacunae around it. So for not today, yesterday some of